Kia ora and welcome to my final tutorial on what is it on? Basics in Premiere Pro Basics. So for this one we're just going to be learning how to export our video. So we've got our video, it's looking pretty awesome, pretty happy with that. Yep, done my color correction, done my titles and credits. Probably run that over the credits. There we go. Get rid of the those ones, and we're ready to do an export. So, woohoo! Yeah, it's looking awesome. I love it. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to editing. Now, in the newer versions of Premiere Pro, there is a quick export button. I think it's in here as well, actually. Quick export, so we can click on quick export. But I'll go through the old school way of doing it, just so we learn about the different settings. So first of all, we want to make sure that we select our timeline. So select our timeline so that it goes all blue like that. Whoops. Don't know what happened there. Anyway, so select the timeline that it goes so that the box goes blue, and that will select it for us. And then we can go to File, Export, and Export Media. Cool. And so this is the window that it will come up with. So we just want to check some of our settings. These are the settings over here. So we've got, we can go match sequence settings if we want, but it's better to create our own settings. So we'll go Format. So the format is H.264. It should always be H.264. There is some other formats here, but for what we're doing, we want to use H.264. It's a nice compression format for most videos that you would see on YouTube. It means your video will be nice and compressed and not too big and not too small. So we can click on the preset. We can go match source, high bit rate. So high bit rate, and if you hover the mouse over it, tells you what it is. High bit rate output for H.2 sources, frame size, frame rate, blah blah blah. Or if you want, you can change that to one of the presets that it's got there. So at the moment, before I change that, I'll just point you to the summary. So it's telling you that this is what the output's going to be. So it's going to be 1920 by 1080. That's the frame size. It's going to be 29 frames per second, and that's our frames per second, obviously. And there's a few other bits and pieces. That's the stereo audio output, and that's where it's being exported from. So from here, rough cut one. There's a few things here. Don't worry about the effects too much. You can scroll through all this stuff if you want. It's not really, you don't have to worry too much about it. But down the bottom it's telling you how big the file size is going to be, right? So at the moment it's 66 megabytes, which is pretty small, which means that, you know, it's going to be a nice small file and it's going to be easy to upload to YouTube or wherever. The bigger file, the more space it's going to take up on your hard drive. So yeah, if we change this to match source, say to let's go down a little bit and find YouTube and say, okay, I want to export it to YouTube 1080p full HD. We'll click on that preset. And then, so it's still 1920 by 1080 and it's still 29 frames per second, but the estimated file size is now 100 megabytes. So it's a little bit bigger. And then if we go, say, high quality 1080 HD, it's even bigger still, even though it's still the same frame size. It may have more higher bit rate. So let's just try one more. So where's Vimeo? Yep, so it's gone down again. So the bit rate, yeah, so it's changing the bit rate, so that's what's making the file size bigger or smaller. So if you change the bit rate, it's going to make the file size a bit bigger. So it'll increase the quality of the final export, but it will also make the file bigger, right? So there's a pluses and minuses to everything. So if I go back to match source high bit rate, so it's still going to have a high bit rate of 10, which is, it's not too bad, and a max bit rate of 12, so it won't get any higher than that, and it'll still have reasonably good quality. So I'll go with that, and yeah, we'll leave it there. There's also 4K options, but I mean, we're not doing anything at 4K, and if you push this up to 4K, then the image quality is going to decrease quite significantly in the final export. So it'll look a lot less crisp and clearer because we didn't shoot this at 4K, so it's not really going to work. We're just making the image size bigger than it actually is. So it's like taking this image and blowing it up to the size of this whole screen. So it's not going to be good. It's also going to increase the file size. So don't worry about that. Just leave it at, just for the purposes of keeping it simple as, we'll go match source high bit rate. Cool. And then the only other thing you need to change is where it says rough cut in blue. That's the output name. So we click on that and we go, okay, this is going to ask you, where do you want to export it to? And I want to export it to the desktop, and I wanted to call it basic edit, and it's going to be a video MP4 file, and then we're done. We push export, and then it will export our video. Now hopefully this isn't going to take too long, depending on how long your video is. So if it's like 5-10 minutes long, the longer it is, the more time it's going to take to export it. So yeah, we'll just wait for that to finish, and then when it finishes, we can watch our video and we'll be done. Okay, exporting. Here we go. We're up to 40%. 50%. This is taking a little while for such a short video. The other thing that can affect the export speed is the amount of effects that you put in. So yeah, I did put a few effects on this video just to show you guys, so that has also affected the speed, I think. Okay, here we go, and let's go find our video. Desktop, and there we go. There is our video. Let's double click on it and have a look at it. Here we go. Looks good to me. Okay, so that's the end of my series of tutorials on the basics of Premiere Pro. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll get some more out soon.